Hey there, and thanks to Amber for having me for the Planathon. I'm Allison Mueller, and I own Big River Coaching. While I'm a coach and a business owner, I also have a background in education and psychology. So I love that I get to bring some of the inner work to the big deal of getting things done. Um, and after this whole week of all this awesome planning strategy, I don't know about you, but I look at all these possibilities and what I want to do and things I could do and things I've been meaning to do, and I get super jazzed. But because I'm such an information gatherer, I want to gather more information before I make some decisions and absolutely before I start implementing. I bet you know the feeling. So it's very likely that I will take pause, look around, and then stop in my tracks. I don't know if any of you can relate to this. But if you have a hard time getting started and you are thinking that there's one right way to do things, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. And this might be helpful for you, for all of you folks out there that, kind of get stuck, also known as procrastination. So here are the three questions you can ask yourself. 1, am I feeling overwhelmed? 2, am I feeling perfectionistic? And 3, am I having a hard time activating my brain? Am I having a hard time getting started or getting my body activated? So let's go back for a little bit. Number 1, am I feeling overwhelmed? When you ask yourself that can be a very valid reason for why it's hard to get started. Is it about the project in particular that you're talking about right now? Is it about your day that feels overwhelming? Is it about life in general? And once you figure out your own antidote to feeling overwhelmed, or having 2 or 3 or 5 options, antidotes to that, you come up with some options for how to move yourself out of that. Same thing with feeling perfectionistic. If you ask yourself, am I feeling perfectionistic? And you say yes, maybe, you may have something there. And so what are some ways that you yourself can come out of it looking a little differently? I think that so often when we think of perfectionism, we think of something being without flaw. But really what I see in my work is some stuckness for folks where they feel like there's one right way to do it, or they have this vision and they are holding so tight to it, it becomes something that they get anchored to and it's hard to move on. So if you're having some procrastination stuff happening and it's because you have this one vision, what's your antidote to that? How is it that you can free yourself up to other possibilities? And thirdly, am I having a hard time activating my brain? Well, that's just sometimes about getting up and getting going, or the getting started part. And there's all kinds of ways that you can look to for your own antidote for that. Mine, oftentimes, is really whittling things down to say, you know what, I don't have to do this for 2 hours, I'm going to do it for 5 minutes. And once I start on 5 minutes, then the rest falls into place for that. So here's my challenge for you. As you're gathering all of your planathon ideas and you're looking ahead to the end of Q4 and ahead to the beginning of 2015, what is your antidote for overwhelm? What is your antidote for feeling perfectionistic? And what is one way that you can help yourself get activated, get started when you're feeling that low? So there you are. Happy Planathon.